The points leader and the sophomore Seeger on the front row of round 10 in the 9th campaign of TNT. 6 wins this season and looking for a 7th in the target Chip Ganassi Dodge. It is DeSoto, Missouri's Noah Belleville taking us to the line. Green flag is out in Iowa. Let's go racing. Riley Wright just disappears off the racetrack and reappears after spinning out of turn number 4. The points leader, Noah Belleville, now leads the field. Out of turn number 4, 2 laps about to be complete. Matt Seeger in that second position in the 1-6. Driven car wash Camry. Behind him, the 9-4, the drip diecast machine. Nick Pressey has the drip diecast machine of Thomas Andrews behind him. The Blue Deuce, just up the cusp of the top 5 where Kevin Feemster is defending Colin McDonough out of turn number 4. 3-9 gives it a shake. 9-4's in the wall. 2 car of Thomas Andrews has to avoid them all. Feemster on the attack and 3 wide into turn number 1. Pressey wants to grab another piece of the wall. They remain 3 wide out of 2. No contact so far, but they're trying their hardest. And now sanity briefly prevails. Kevin Feemster, Colin McDonough side by side. Once again, Ryan Pinnell in the 1-2. The Altel Dodge from Cedar Rapids, just about 90 minutes outside of the Iowa Speedway, just behind Colin McDonough, almost getting caught up in a wreck there. That's 2 out of the last 3 laps. Colin McDonough gets wide out of turn number 4, and he's struggling to hold on to the race car. Let's go on board. Mama Vols is in the house. Bama Trama in the chat for those that know. Shout out to Mama Vols. Shout out to Terry Radford as well. Mama, hope Terry's doing well. Hope the kids and the family are doing well. Also, how's fall going? How's your college football season going? Fill me in. Let me know. 8 laps underway at the Iowa Speedway. The local flavor of the week, Ryan Pinnell. Still behind Colin McDonough and Ryan Lindemann from Tampa in the 5-1. The whole Lindemann family. Shout out to them. And I think Mrs. Lindemann was in the chat a couple of weeks ago or possibly last week cheering on Mr. Ryan. Ryan's in 8th right now, up 3 places from where he started. And behind him, from the great state of Virginia, Tommy Withers in the number 6. You can hear the tires. And you can hear him clutching, putting the clutch in, going into the corners, trying to save fuel. Richie Catania in a car that I don't know if it ever raced. Someone needs to correct me on this, and somebody who knows their NASCAR history better than I do. I know that a die-cast of this car came out in 2003, but did this particular paint scheme ever actually hit the racetrack? For those that might not know, this is the Winston Cup Champions edition of the paint scheme. And what it is in 2003, that was the last year that Winston would sponsor what is now, God, I was about to call it the Nextel Cup. How old am I? Oh, look at Richie Catania going wide out of 4. Shout out Emily Seeger as well. the NASCAR Cup Series. I'm trying to think of the title sponsor. They don't have one, do they? But yeah, the NASCAR Cup Series, excuse me, was in 2003 called the Winston Cup Series. And I think they made a die cast of every Winston Cup champion from the first year, that I think it was the mid-'70s or the late '70s or something, all the way to 2003 before it became the Sprint Cup Series. This was obviously Jeff Gordon's edition. And I'm trying to think, did this paint scheme actually ever see the racetrack? I'm trying to Google it furiously while talking about it right now. But no, I don't think it ever did, or we would have seen something. I would have seen more than just diecasts about it. In any case, if someone knows better than I do, correct me, but a gorgeous paint scheme. Nonetheless, Richie Catania currently in 11th. Matt Seeger currently running in 2nd. Only, and we say only because he's only 1.25 seconds behind the man who's won 6 races this season from Missouri. Noah Belleville in the 41 Dodge, trying to go for 7 wins with still 6 races to go in this campaign, trying to beat Aiden Norman's single season win record of 8. And he's only a couple away. Looks very likely that he'll break the record unless the 16 of Matt Seeger can track him down. 1.5 seconds is the gap between him and Noah Belleville. Faster than Nick Pressey, but just not consistently faster than Belleville. They both jumped into practice with impeccable timing. They got into practice immediately, one right after the other, and they just used the whole hour practicing. And that really, if you wonder what makes an iRacing driver so good compared to the rest of the competition, it is practice. Not the game itself, but practice. And that's what Seeger does. He just makes that practice work for him, and same for Noah Belleville, and that's why they race in the positions they do, because of the amount of work they put in, not just during the race, but before it. Seeger now equidistant from 1st and 3rd. Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews in the TNT Drip Diecast Blue Deuce has Colin McDonough creeping on his outside. Richie Catania, he's got a dent on the right front fender, but he wants a piece of John Honeybrink anyway. The NVIDIA Chevrolet now makes space as Catania gives a bit of a shake out of the 4th corner. Tommy Withers now ahead of Tristan Catania, trying to stay in the top 9. McDonough now has Kevin Feemster to his inside. Let's go on board. Trauma cheering on. Matt Seeger saying, make up the distance. You've got this. 2 and almost a quarter seconds between Belleville and Seeger. 23 laps underway. Mama Vols earlier talking about Alabama football, saying Bama's trying to learn a new coach. And her football team, Alabama, goes against her son Terry's football team, the Tennessee Volunteers. So Alabama and Tennessee playing on, what is this Saturday? Is this the 3rd Saturday in October? You know college football more than I do, so please, by all means, correct me. So a lot of fans for Matt Seeger tonight. We got fans of Alabama football in the house tonight. Richie Catania trying to make himself a fan of everybody who loves a top 10 driver. John Honeybrink just barely holding on, while Colin McDonough still has a mirror full of Kevin Feemster, and the Indiana driver wants a piece of that top 5. He's been climbing in the points, to his credit, to his very accomplished credit this season. Feemster now makes it into the top 15. I think, what was last week? Someone correct me. Was it our doubleheader last? No, it wasn't. It wasn't our doubleheader last week, was it? I don't think so. No, it was Indianapolis last week. And I think Kevin Feemster scored a podium either that week or... Anyway, can't remember. But Kevin's now in the top 15 after a couple of good runs, and now looking to climb further. He's actually only 2 markers behind Matt Kent, who is not in tonight's race. So the Texas A&M pitcher may drop out of the top 15. Elrich George also not in tonight's race. Feemster could be leapfrogging a few positions, trying to get around Colin McDonough now. This is the battle for the 5th position. Feemster edges out the 39 of McDonough, and he's going to almost immediately give it up as he scrapes the wall into turn number 3, and now comes away with that 5th position. Tampa driver Ryan Lindemann now trying to overtake McDonough. Ryan Pinnell and Tommy Withers side by side. The 1-2 on the outside of the 6 Viagra Ford. The Altel Dodge looking to get a bit closer. That's 8th place on the line, and Richie Catania getting closer to this fight. Nick Pressey now has Kevin Feemster in the mirror as well. 30 laps in, and I think the tires are really starting to show wear. Nick Pressey almost driving an erratic line really high out of turn number 2, and Kevin Feemster closing the gap. Feemster to the inside, and he just can't make it stick. Losing Kevin there for just a hot second. Sorry about that. Nick Pressey still holds on to the 4th position. Ryan Lindemann running in the 7th spot. He's just 3/10 behind this run right here. Drivers looking to go approximately 55 to 60 laps on 1 tank of fuel. That's if the tires can go that distance. And I think we're seeing the drivers that take the most care of their tires actually taking the car to the level it needs to be. Still watching this battle with Colin McDonough in that 3-9. And Ryan Lindemann getting ever closer. Nick Pressey still not free of Kevin Feemster. How about Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews getting closer to Matt Seeger as well? He's starting to inch away from Nick Pressey and getting closer 1/10 at a time to Matt Seeger right before, and I say right before because 20 laps is a short distance here, but right before pit stops. And consistently for 3 consecutive laps, Thomas Andrews now just pulling away from Pressey, getting closer to Seeger. Andrew still just pulling away, and the distance gets larger. Colin McDonough sitting in that 3-9, now almost going 3 wide with the 5-1 of Ryan Lindemann, now 2x2, 2 rows deep. 40 laps underway at the Iowa Speedway, and the cars just trying to maintain. They're not trying to conserve, are they? So tires, probably not as big a deal as we once thought. The track's only getting cooler. More rubber is getting laid into the track. Nick Pressy's in the wall. Ryan Lindemann sits ahead of him. Colin McDonough on the outside in that 39. He's going to survive for now. And still, for now, making it through undisturbed. The 94 of Nick Pressey now looking to get back into what was his top 5. And so far, it's almost like controlled chaos out here, where the drivers are still taking care of each other. They haven't crashed just yet. Tyler O'Shea talking about Colin McDonough setting that pace. 5 places, and Colin McDonough's 5 places in the top 5, and Colin McDonough's on the back of all of them. Up 1 place from where he started. That's what I was trying to say. Not up 5 places, but making progress. Ryan Lindemann behind him is up 5 places from where he started. Lindemann starting in the 11th position. He's up to 6th. At the back, Tristan Catania and John Honeybrink still battling. Let's go on board with the 48. Well, not just yet. He's on the inside of the 2-0 and looking to make it stick. They're going to drag race down the front. And the NVIDIA Chevrolet with all the momentum down the front straight. Catania has to try one more time. .48 gets to the inside, and he finally gets the position away from John Honeybrink. Kevin Feemster in the 17 now has Colin McDonough to the inside of him. These two battling for the 3rd position. And the 41 of Noah Belleville pitting on lap 44. So that estimate of the cars coming in approximately 55 to 60 laps, dead wrong. Way shorter than what we expected, and the tires not going that far. Drivers get 4 extra sets of tires as Noah Belleville, look at him just fly around the field now on fresh tires. Last time around, Noah Belleville, 23.65. Matt Seeger, who's leading this race, 24.62. 24.53 for Colin McDonough. He's going to take 2nd place as Thomas Andrews and Kevin Feemster now enter pit road. .17 is in. Matt Seeger still leading this race, 3 seconds behind Colin McDonough in that 39 machine. And how about Cedar Rapids? Ryan Pennell in the 1-2. He now rejoins the top 5. He's up to the 4th spot. Richie Catania up to 5th. 50 laps underway. Colin McDonough now stretching that fuel as far as he can go. Whereas drivers like Belleville, drivers like Nick Pressey, Ryan Lindemann coming in on laps 44 and 45. Different pit strategies. Drivers going for fuel mileage rather than just overall tires and speed, and really interested to see where this one goes as well. 53 laps now underway from the Iowa Speedway. Tommy Withers becomes the new leader under the pit stop cycle. Ryan Pennell 2 seconds behind him in that race lead. These are the only two drivers that have yet to pit so far. Noah Belleville sits in third. Thomas Andrews is in fourth. Fresh tires for the both of them, and Thomas Andrews 12 seconds behind Noah Belleville. Now, that speaks more to Andrews' pit strategy than it does to anything else, as Belleville leads. Andrews is in second. Matt Seeger down to sixth behind Nick Pressey and Thomas Andrews. And right there, I think that shows that Seeger's pit lane attack is what could be his Achilles heel tonight. He spent 2 seconds more on pit lane than anybody else while having a pit stop about 1.5 seconds shorter than anybody else. Quickest pit stop, but the most time on pit lane. And Matt Seeger playing it safe, coming on and off pit road, but you can see the effects right there after that green flag cycle. Seeger now having to work his way through the field, but look at him move. Last pitting on lap 49 and all up the back trumpet of Nick Pressey. Thomas Andrews 0.3 of a second ahead. The 2 car in third, 94 in the 16 behind him. Matt Seeger now comfortably up into the top 3. Thomas Andrews sits just ahead of him. Nick Pressey in that 94 to the left-hand side, ahead of Ryan Lindemann in that 51. Shout out the whole Lindo family. Shout out Ms. Denise talking to us in the chat last week. And shout out to everybody in Florida and everybody affected by the hurricanes. We hope that the healing is well underway. We know for a lot of you, there's still a lot of work to go. We're thinking about you and we're behind you every step of the way. Richie Catania, 0.4 of a second behind Briley Wright, 8th and 9th. Irrespective of where they sit, Wright in 8th, Catania in 9th. Both drivers up 5 places from where they started. At the front, Noah Belleville has a 12-second gap to Thomas Andrews, Matt Seeger, and Nick Pressey, who were just, and I mean relatively speaking, just behind him. A couple of seconds, now sitting in 3rd and 4th. Noah Belleville looking like he's already on pace for a 7th win this season. But of course, this is racing. Literally anything can happen. Further back, Briley Wright, just ahead of Richie. And we'll see what these two can put together. It is very much a rhythm track, the Iowa Speedway. You've got to get that balance between speed, between handling. Noah Belleville looking to put the balance of the entire field 1 lap down. That green flag pit stop cycle just 50-some laps into this race. Really just doing a number on the rest of the field. But Belleville pitting on lap 44 now brings up an interesting point. If he chooses to go another 44 laps, he'll have to pit on lap 88. Tommy Withers pitted on lap 57. If he can go another 57 laps, he'll be to lap 114. 57 laps beyond that brings him beyond the distance of the race. 114 and 57 is what? Oh, will he make it? Actually, no, because 114 and 57 puts him at 171 laps. So 57 laps all the way. Going 57 laps on each run means Tommy Withers has to pit inside 10 laps to go. With Noah Belleville pitting on lap 44, everybody break out your calculators because I can't do math like this. His second pit stop should come on lap 88, then 132. And if he goes 44 laps on each pit stop, he won't have to pit again until lap 176. By that time, the race is over. Tommy Withers, 57 laps on his last stint. Noah Belleville, 44 laps on his last stint. A difference of 13 laps. One driver going for speed, the other for distance, and 68 laps about to be complete. Still plenty of race. More than 100 laps to go at the Iowa Speedway, and if you've just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. Caution free in iRacing's Newton, Iowa. Next week, the final break of the season before the run to the finish. iRacing's Michigan International will be the host of round number 11. We take a break for Halloween and then round number 12 at the Bristol Motor Speedway. A lot of fun still left to be had in this season. Barber coming up on the schedule as well with 3 races to go. We're putting the Gen 4 cars at Barber. That's going to be something else. $105 to go. Kevin Feemster right behind Ryan Lindemann, and this is the fight for 6th. Feemster to the inside. Lindemann just can't defend that 17's grip on the left-hand side. Watch the run out of turn number 4, and the DeWalt machine now making it stick to the left-hand side of Ryan Lindemann. 5-1 can't hold. Kevin Feemster moves into 6th. Up ahead, Colin McDonough watches Feem get closer. McDonough working the left-hand side of Nicholas Pressey. 39 goes to the inside. Pressey just decides to leave it alone. Now trying to get a good run out of turn number 4. McDonough sends it in deep. Pressey with the speed into turn number 1. 4th place on the line. McDonough trying to run up the racetrack. Pressey trying the undercut out of turn number 2. Kevin Feemster is there. He's going to slot in behind Nick Pressey. 17 running the low side. 94 on the high side. 101 laps remain. This time by Noah Belleville, leading still by what has now been a stagnant and still unbelievable 12 seconds over Thomas Andrews, whose gap to Matt Seeger is dwindling. Nick Pressey is skating all over the racetrack. Kevin Feemster now moves to the left-hand side, and they will drag race with 101 to go. Feemster at the line. Lindemann watching, hoping that they get together and cause an incident. 75 laps. Clean and green. No cautions so far. And Kevin does not relent. Those of you interested in the NLCS game, the Dodgers lead the Mets 3-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. Yamamoto 50 pitches in. Nimmo's 0 for 1. Now on the batting. and I'll keep an eye on that game as well. Who do you got? If you got Dodgers, let me know. If you got Mets, let me know. Yay, baseball. Fewer than 100 laps remain in this race. Feimster now running away from Nicholas Pressey, although 4/10 is still the gap. Tristan Catania and John Honeybrink at it again. Car 48 now on the left-hand side of car number 20. Both of them fighting for lucky number 13th position. Briley Wright, the last car on the lead lap, and there is Belleville. Although lucky for Briley Wright, there is a 6-second gap between him and Ryan Lindemann. Look at Briley just shake that car. Those tires are worn. If the caution were to come out now, or any time before Ryan Lindemann were to go a lap down, Briley would still be on the lead lap thanks to the lucky dog. So going a lap down is not the worst situation for him. However, Richie Catania is 1.5 seconds behind him and closing. Over the last 5 laps, Briley has been getting away from Richie. And it's Tommy Withers that's been closing on Catania. The Viagra Ford to the inside of the DuPont Chevrolet. 8th place on the line. Briley Wright soon to go a lap down. Noah Belleville trying to run the inside of the racetrack, getting a high exit out of turn number 2. 12.3 seconds the gap between him and second place Thomas Andrews, while Matt Seeger has now brought himself closer to the 2 car. Over the last 5 laps, Seeger quicker than Andrews, and McDonough quicker than Seeger. Colin McDonough finds himself almost 3 seconds off the pace. Kevin Feimster within a few tenths to him, and here comes Ryan Lindemann to the inside of Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. 82 laps underway. We're on the back 9 now, and the driven car wash Chevy wants to get around the drip diecast Monte Carlo. Having a problem with that nose camera tonight. We'll get that figured out. Still side by side, fighting for 6th. Briley Wright still has not gone a lap down, running the high side. Hope yet for the Bluegrass Bandit. And the only Bluegrass Bandit in tonight's race. The 2-9 flying the flag for Kentucky by his lonesome. Leader behind him, and up ahead Nick Pressey and Ryan Lindemann continue to duel and debate for 6th place. "90 laps to go." Andrews in the 2, 4/10 of a second ahead of Matt Seeger, and then Chris Fleming behind him. Although Fleming running in the 12th spot, not for position. John Honeybrink is behind him and gaining. Last time around, it was almost 6/10 that John Honeybrink took off of Chris Fleming's lead, and Fleming looking to crack the top dozen. Colin McDonough in the 39 car behind him. Ryan Lindemann, Nick Pressey still side by side. The 48 of Tristan Catania in front of them. 48 kindly removes himself out of the way. They briefly go 3 wide into turn number 1. Ryan Lindemann to the inside of Nick Pressey. He wants that position. They do make contact. They almost crash, but they save it. What a save between the 2 of them. They almost make contact again. Pressey now gets away with the 6th position. Lindemann will chase once again. Green flag pit stops start once again. Nick Pressey is in on lap number 90. Noah Belleville also decides to come in approximately 45 laps from when he last made his pit stop. Take a look at the stint lengths. Thomas Andrews is now your new leader. He pitted 48 laps into his first stint. He now sits 41 laps into this stint. Briley Wright, 39 laps into this stint. He went, what, 50 laps last time? Noah Belleville out again. 45 laps to the nose, trying to make his car run as close as possible to the edge. He comes in with the race lead. He is out in the 10th position. Tommy Withers, he pitted on lap 57. How far will he go this time? Matt Seeger in second. Colin McDonough running in third. Noah Belleville crosses the line and the clock says 23:54. Thomas Andrews 24:62, a full second slower than the race leader. 41 in the 2, not dueling for position. Belleville now gets his lap back, and Thomas Andrews is on the run. Andrews pitted on lap 48. Quick math will tell you he's going to be into the pits approximately on lap approximately lap 96, so a couple of laps from now. McDonough trying to get something on Seeger. Half a second between them. The 39 has been creeping up, and he wants the second spot before they come into the pits. If the caution comes out now, imagine the wrench that throws in a bunch of pit stop strategies. McDonough within a quarter of a second to Matt Seeger. Tommy Withers now within 9/10 to Briley Wright, but the 29 car pitted on lap 50. Withers on lap 57, and those extra 7 laps are going to make a lot of difference in terms of grip. McDonough to the inside of Seeger. This is for second. Matt Seeger just barely holding on. Colin McDonough is right there. McDonough moved to the left-hand side. Will he make it stick this time? He cannot. And Matt Seeger will come in and he will give up the battle. So the 16 car now into the pits. But Colin McDonough now becomes the race's new leader. He last pitted on lap 50. And you can imagine he'll be coming in probably this time by Colin McDonough, Briley Wright, Richie Catania. They all pitted on lap 50. Tommy Withers on lap 57. Ryan Pennell and John Honeybrink, they've only made 1 pit stop so far. 75 laps to go. When Colin McDonough crosses the line, we got triple digits on the board. For the first time tonight, Ryan Lindemann rejoins the race in the 13th position, but with fresh tires and 4 more cars still to pit. Almost immediately, Ryan Lindemann just becomes quicker than Colin McDonough last time around. As McDonough's in the wall last time around, 24:57. Noah Belleville, 23:76, 1.8 seconds the difference. McDonough gambling, and he's got no more gas left to gamble with. 39 is into the pits. Briley Wright on the high side is your new leader at Iowa. He will lead lap 101. Tommy Withers behind him. If Withers goes the distance on this tank, that's still another 100. He's still going to go to 114 as he pitted on lap 57. So if he equals that stint length, 114 is where he'll be. Briley Wright will not lead this lap. Tommy Withers will. The 6 car is the new leader. And lo and behold, there's Noah Belleville right behind him with a 13-second gap to Ryan Pinnell. With Ryan Lindemann comes up right behind him, and the two Ryans almost make contact down the front straight. Tommy Withers will not come into the pits. He's going to stay out. He's going to get right ahead of Noah Belleville. They're going to drag race to the line. Tommy Withers leads that lap by a hair. There's the difference last time around. Tommy Withers, 7/100ths of a second quicker than Noah Belleville. Last time through, Withers leads a lap. He will stay out. Belleville, new leader once again. Ryan Pinnell, 13 seconds behind him. Pinnell also needs to pit. John Honeybrink also needs to pit. He went to lap 51 the first time around, so he's going way farther than anybody expected. And it's just a gamble on fuel now. Honeybrink is going to come in. Thomas Andrews, who was 13 seconds behind Noah Belleville when the green flag pit stop started, now 22 seconds behind Noah Belleville after this second stint. And where has the time gone? His pit stops consistent with everybody around him. His pit lane time also consistent. Matt Seeger, once again, the big loser on the green flag pit stop cycles. All that time spent in pit lane costing him at least 2 or 3 positions. Spend 1.5 more seconds on pit lane more than anybody else, despite one of the quicker pit stop times. So again, the conservative approach to pit lane is hindering Seeger in this case, but he makes up for it with the on-track performance. However, if he could attack pit lane just a bit more, imagine what he would gain on the racetrack. Three and a half seconds, the gap between Noah Belleville and Tommy Withers. Again, expected to come in at lap 114. 6 car running a different strategy and definitely using the clutch to save fuel. Have a listen. Belleville 5 seconds ahead. Ryan Pinnell is in third. He also is yet to pit. He was expected to come in at lap 108. He's staying out even further. I don't believe anybody can make this on 2 stops. It's just not possible. Depending on when Tommy Withers comes in, if 57 is the furthest he can go, let's give him 60. He still needs to come in. If he can go 60 laps, he would need to come in at approximately lap 115, but still save fuel on this entire third stint and not lose enough positions because of his lack of speed on the racetrack. It would be a bold strategy, Cotton, and we'll see how it works out for him. The 39 of Colin McDonough in the 8th position, comfortably sailing around Tommy Withers. There is now 3rd place going to New Jersey. Thomas Andrews gets into 3rd, Ryan Pinnell into 4th, and Nick Pressey will strip him of that honor. The Iowa driver now drops down to 5th, and the competition gets closer Over the last 5 laps, Matt Seeger has been consistently quicker than Ryan Pennell. The 12 car stays out gambling on that caution. Will he try to make it on just 2 stops? That would be astonishing. We're expecting Tommy Withers in this time by. No way. He is staying out. We'll see just how far he goes. Ryan Pennell has already well exceeded what we expected. 108 was his number. He's 6 laps beyond that. How slow is he trying to go out there? Listen to how ginger he is with the throttle, how delicate he is. Decelerating right along the Iowa Speedway sign on the backstretch. Not accelerating until he's well into turn 4. Gives the car a shake, and have another listen. He's not even beginning to turn the car yet, and he's just pushing the clutch in, letting off the throttle, saving every drop. Watch the Iowa Speedway sign on the right when he lets off. There's his marker. And that's what he does to save every drop possible. Matt Seeger now goes beside Ryan Pennell. They almost touch into turn number 1. Now I'm really interested to see this strategy here. Pennell still sits in the 2nd position. Withers is in 6th. Ryan Pennell is now gone. Well, another 54 would have been 108. So now that he's at 117, he's gone, what, 63 laps, if I'm correct? No, more than that now. Yeah, about 65 laps on this fuel run, which means Ryan Pennell now has enough fuel to go the distance. His tires are going to be fantastic just around the time that everybody else is going to, right before everybody else comes into the pits. If Ryan Pennell plays his cards right, he needs to put in his fastest laps before everyone else's green flag pit stop cycles. The drivers on 3 stops will be coming in with about 20-some laps to go, so about 30-some laps from now. Pennell and Withers is in. Pennell is not. Tommy Withers is in. He came in on lap 57. He's now going to come in on lap 118. And there is the stint length. 57 on the first stint, 61 on the second. How about Ryan Pennell? 54 laps on his first stint, 64 laps and counting. The Iowa pilot still on the track, still in 6th. And the Drip Diecast Track Facts predicting 55 to 60 laps for a pit window. That crap flew out the window on lap 45 when everybody decided to start coming in pit road. No way that I saw this coming. Shout out to folks at Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Right or wrong, they're still going to sponsor our Track Facts. We're just outside the final 50 laps. Who's in the grass? It's Tommy Withers. It's Tommy Withers who's in the grass. What happened to the 6 car? Cold tires. There goes the fuel strategy. It is all for nothing. As he makes that mistake and he just slides down the left-hand side of the pits. He rejoins the race in 11th, but the cold tires get him. Pennell finally decides to come down into the pits, and the Cedar Rapids pilot will come down for 4 tires, fuel, and anything else he can get his hands on. He's going to have 53 laps to go on this stint. And Ryan Pennell, how far did he go unofficially? 67 laps. So he's got another 53 to go on this tank. He just went 67 laps. He stands to gain a lot if he uses the tires when they need to be used. Noah Belleville pitted on lap 89. If he sticks to his strategy of approximately 45 laps a stint, he'll be coming in the next 10 laps. That's when Pennell needs to hit it. But of course, we just saw Tommy Withers slide off the racetrack with cold tires. Pennell must be careful. He cannot make the same mistake that Withers made or his strategy also goes up in smoke. .50 laps to go in Newton, Iowa. Nick Pressey in the 94 sits in third. Matt Seeger is 7/10 behind him in fourth. Kevin Feemster running in that fifth position, and Noah Belleville looking to put him a lap down. One more pit stop. There goes Pennell. There goes Pennell with a big slide out of turn number 4. A huge drift out of the fourth corner. Run that back. I can't believe he saved that. A massive slide. Let's go on board. Watch this. What a slide. Check this out. This will give us a better angle. Are you kidding me? It cost him a bit of time. He did not slide through the grass like Tommy Withers. And now he's got the fresh tires. Now he's got the hammer down. But Kevin Feemster also trying to navigate around Ryan Pennell. The Iowa driver says, no way. This one's mine. And now he comes up 3 wide. Seeger, Pressey, they make contact. Pennell on the inside. 3 wide out of turn number 4. And no crash, no caution. All clean and green coming to 45 laps to go. Kevin Feemster slow in front of Noah Belleville. There's Nick Pressey. There's just Belleville putting in another unbelievable, and I mean unbelievable performance. He's in again. Belleville is in before he can put second and third a lap down. Thomas Andrews running in second. Still 18 seconds off the pace. Matt Seeger, 6 seconds behind Thomas Andrews. Good to see the Season 4 champion back where he belongs in the podium positions. He's got another 45 laps to manage, so he can stay there. He's now the new leader at Iowa. And looking at the drip die-cast points, Thomas Andrews comes into this race 7th in the standings, only 8 points behind Josh Gaiman, who's not in tonight's lineup. 26 points behind Tom Sears, also not in tonight's race. The 2-car continues to gain through the rank. Prize money on the line for our top 3. Nick Pressey in 5th, he decides to come in. Ryan Lindemann also decides to come in. Matt Seeger has a very inspired Kevin Feemster behind him. Let's go on board. Richie Catania now cracking the top 7 positions. Briley Wright also up 7 places from where he started. And these two right now benefiting from the green flag pit stop cycle. A lot of close to racing, a lot of contact. Anything can happen. A caution now just resets everything. And we get an exciting shootout to the end of this race. Nick Pressey just cuts right in front of Briley Wright, 2.9 to the left-hand side. Cannot defend. And Nick Pressey pitting on lap 130. Briley Wright on lap 102. And the difference is just plain to be seen. Richie Catania, however, wants that 6th place from Briley. Thomas Andrews with Ryan Pennell in tow. 8 3/4 seconds between Thomas Andrews and Colin McDonough, running first and second. Matt Seeger decides he's going to come into the pits. Noah Belleville, he pitted on lap 129, and he's running in third already. 15-second pit stop for the DeSoto, Missouri native. Ryan Pennell has slid off the racetrack. What happened to car 1-2? Loose out of 4. Loose out of 4. And Pennell looks like he's just going to park it for the night. What happened here? He gets going and he just decides enough is enough. So the 1-2 car is going to park it. Thomas Andrews in that number 2 machine. Still out front, Noah Belleville. 11 1/3 seconds behind him. Noah Belleville to the line, 1 second quicker than Thomas Andrews that last time around, and a caution seems to be the only thing that can stop car 41. Matt Seeger, after pitting on lap 136, rejoins in the 9th position. Behind Colin McDonough, behind Kevin Feemster. Tommy Withers pitted on lap 118. He can go the distance from here. Ryan Pennell still in the pits. And it looks like the 1-2 car, he was also poised to go the distance. He's decided to park that for the night. Tommy Withers will continue on his 2-stop strategy. We'll see just how far it gets him. And saving fuel as always. 8 seconds and counting. Noah Belleville creeping closer as the final 30 laps approach. At Iowa, Briley Wright 1 second ahead of Richie Catania. Both Briley and Richie have yet to pit. Thomas Andrews is in. And Noah Belleville now is the new leader with 32 laps to go. Wright now takes over the second position, and the Bluegrass Bandit moves into the silver medal slot. Now up 11 places from where he started. Richie Catania still dancing behind him. 3 wide with Lindemann and Fleming. No. Chris Fleming running in 11th. Ryan Lindemann running in 10th. A full 2 laps ahead. Chris Fleming still in the fight, however. Still trying his hardest. Love to see it. And if you just tuned in, at the top, it has been this guy, Noah Belleville. Another dominant performance, going for 7 wins in this Thursday Night Thunder campaign. And now putting in a more successful single-season win percentage than that of the 3-time champion and most successful TNT driver, Aiden Norman. Belleville putting up monster numbers in TNT. These are the point standings coming into this race. 393 to Nick Pressey's 365. A 28-point difference, if my math is right. "15 seconds the gap between Noah Belleville and Briley Wright. Thomas Andrews rejoins the race, 32 seconds behind Noah Belleville. 0.8 of a second ahead of Matt Seeger, 7th and 8th running together. Kevin Feemster, he pitted on lap 135. He runs in 6th. Both Briley Wright and Richie Catania have to pit. The longest we've seen a driver go is 64 laps on one stint. With them pitting on, Briley pitted on lap 102. That would only take Briley to lap 166, which is 16 laps from now. He would still need another pit stop. That being said, if the caution comes out before Briley comes out, he's sitting pretty. 150 laps about to be put up on the chalkboard. Thomas Andrews, with tires that are 7 laps more fresh than Kevin Feemster, now moves into 6th. And starts to run away. "25 laps to go in Newton, Iowa. Noah Belleville on another historical quest to win a race by a ludicrous margin. Thomas Andrews, 9/10 of a second ahead of Kevin Feemster. Matt Seeger, he wants a shot at the top 5 as well, and Nick Pressey on an island by himself. Over the last 5 laps, Pressey has been quicker than Tommy Withers, who's running in 4th, and Thomas Andrews is quicker than Nick Pressey. Here you see the 2 car just in the distance. Withers in the 6 with tires that have not seen, well, yeah, tires that haven't been cool since lap 118. Again, trying the distance rather than the speed strategy. Car number 6. Looking to score that top 5, which would be fantastic for his point standings. Coming into round number 10, Tommy Withers runs 9th in the standings. Ryan Pennell, 14 points ahead of Tommy Withers. We saw Pennell slide off the racetrack earlier, and he's decided to park it for some laps. Pennell now rejoins the race several laps down, running in the 12th position. Withers now in the top 3. What happened to Nick Pressey? Riley Wright now decides he's going to come in. He almost misses pit lane. Richie Catania came in on lap 152. Riley Wright now coming in on lap 153. And the stint length for both of these drivers, Riley Wright going 52 laps on that last stint. There you see Belleville, 44, 45, 40 on that last stint. And Belleville, he's confident that he knows what he's doing, and he'll have the tires to go the distance. I'll be astonished if he doesn't. It's a 27-second gap between Noah Belleville and Thomas Andrews. Unofficially, that means the entire field is now a lap down. The battle for first is meaningless at this point. So we can all blame Noah Belleville for turning this into what is effectively Formula One. Don't get me wrong. Well, not anymore. What used to be Formula One during Max Verstappen's dominance. Now I would kill for this race to look like what Formula One does now, where there's at least a fight between McLaren and Red Bull each week. It's a fight between Noah Belleville and not screwing up now from here until he decides to crash. Belleville, you know, I think we've been making this joke all season, but I think it really just rings true now in all races this season. When we picked on Noah Belleville so much for never winning a Thursday Night Thunder championship, he said, fine, I'll go ahead and win the Thursday Night Thunder championship. So that just goes to show, don't push somebody because you never know what they're capable of. DJ Michael Braps subscribing and scaring the living hell out of me. I wish you could have seen my face. I turned that sound up to 1,000 for exactly that reason. But when that sound comes up, it's the loudest thing in the world. But shout out DJ Michael for subscribing. Welcome to Rick James TV. 15 laps to go on the board, and you're watching what in our 9th season has been dominance unseen. Noah Belleville, 27 seconds ahead of the second-place driver. That's more than a lap's distance. There is Thomas Andrews in the second position. Tommy Withers still in third, but only by 1 second 14 laps to go. Nick Pressey now creeping up behind him, but he has Kevin Feemster to deal with as well. Pressey has not been quicker than Withers. There goes Feemster right into the 4th position, and Feemster 0.2 of a second quicker last time around. 13 laps to go next time by. And this time, Kevin Feemster 0.2 quicker than Tommy Withers. That's enough to take 3rd away from the Virginia pilot. Nick Pressey and Matt Seeger now side by side. Seeger trying to get his way into the 5th position, and Emily says, it's okay, Seeger, you'll get him eventually. All respect to Matt Seeger. Into his 2nd Thursday Night Thunder campaign, he runs 3rd in the points with an average finish of 6th, only bested by the 2 drivers ahead of him, and one of those drivers is quite literally unreachable in terms of talent tonight. Briley Wright gets to the inside of Matt Seeger. This is not for position. Tommy Withers in 3rd, Kevin Feemster running in the 4th position. It's only fitting that Cody Pennell chimes in with another classic TNT nail-biter, not least because Noah Belleville is dominating this race and he's making us look like Formula One of previous seasons, but because Cody Pennell himself has been on the winning end of a TNT nail-biter. Season 5 at Dover, Cody Pennell won by lapping the entire field. And there he is as well. Welcome to the finishing on your own lap club, Noah, taking them to school. And truth be told, if there's one driver who in Thursday Night Thunder has an unbelievable win record, it is Cody Pennell, the guy in the chat right now. His first part-time season in TNT, I think he came away with 3 wins. I think he won 4 more in the next season. One of those wins, he lapped the entire field at Dover. Cody Pennell knows a thing or two about winning races by an entire lap. And here he is in the chat cheering on Noah Belleville to do exactly that. Tommy Withers opens the door, and it's the battle of the Roush paint schemes down the back straight. Feemster, with tires that are far more fresh than Tommy Withers, will make light work of the Virginian, and Matt Seeger now aims to do the same. Richie Catania ahead of him, but not for position. Withers does not relent on tires that left pit lane at lap 118. Kevin Feemster has tires that are 17 laps more fresh than that of Tommy Withers. And credit to the 6 for holding on to that one. He's going to try the crossover out of turn number 4. The guts on him, and they're going to drag race down the front straight. Tommy Withers says, I'm not done. Feemster now must defend. Withers sends it in deep. Will he try to push up on the DeWalt Ford? 6 to go next time by for Noah Belleville. Kevin Feemster comes away with the position. Advantage Feemster and position Feemster. Now Matt Seeger seeking 4th from the Viagra Ford. '16 gently chasing that 6 car, but how close will he get? Three laps to go next time by. It's one thing to catch him, another thing to pass him. How will the 6 car defend? Seeger is right there and ready to pounce. Seeger sends it around the high side. Cannot make it stick. Can the 16 get any closer to that 6 car? There's Seeger. He just needs to find that extra inch or two to get to the inside of Withers. Try and make his way through him. 4th place on the line between them. Kevin Feemster not necessarily getting away from Tommy Withers either. Any mistake by the 17 could take him out of 3rd. White flag for Noah Belleville. A dominant performance. It will be 7 wins this season for the Missouri pilot, and he seems to be on a record-setting course for a Thursday Night Thunder championship. Last week at Indianapolis, this week at Iowa, and he now is 1 away from tying the record. Noah Belleville wins round 10 at Iowa. Matt Seeger now looking to get to the inside of Tommy Withers. This is going to be for 4th. Tommy Withers just beats Matt Seeger to the line. Nick Pressey loose out of turn number 4. Colin McDonough will beat him for the 6th position. And the man they call Moldy. Go and brush your shoulders off, son. 7 wins this season. No mold, no dust, all shine. What can you say? Really, what can you say? Marvelous stuff. We're going to let Noah celebrate. We're going to let Noah celebrate. We're going to, well, he's going to do Legends Ovals, and that's cool too. So we're going to let him celebrate. We're going to collect our top 3, and we're going to have our podium in just a moment, fans. Don't go anywhere. On the podium with our top 3 drivers, starting with another corn-fed boy, but this one not from Iowa, this one from the Hoosier State. Kevin Feemster on the podium again. You're making a habit of this, man.
Yeah, I'm making a habit of it, but it's been fun. Tonight was a little rough, especially with no cautions, pit strategy. I needed good in and out on pit stops, and I hit every single one of my pit stops and cycled out there in P3. Um, Ended up in P3. Got a awesome battle with Withers. I had to give him a slide job, and he tried crossing me over, and kind of had to pinch him down a little bit there at the end, but didn't touch. It was pretty fun, clean race in there, but happy with P3 because that was the track was tough, car was tough tonight.
Great run tonight. Next week, we go to Michigan. We'll see you there.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Our silver medalist and the Season 4 champion, Thomas Andrews, back on the podium for the first time in a long time, and this has been one of your better seasons as of late. Unofficially 5th in the points after a grueling and dominant race at Iowa.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, it's just tough getting up here to a podium. You seem to need a little bit of luck and to be fast, and I haven't had either of those lately. But no, I mean, testament goes out. Shout out to all these guys that show up every week, and even the part timers who come out every week, other week or so. I mean, we've gone what 10 races in now, and other than one race, we've had other than two races, we've gone caution free. So shout out to all the drivers that show up every week. Shout out to you, Rick, for putting this broadcast on, and congrats to Noah on another win. I was kind of hoping he would lag out there at the end because that was really my only chance. But I wouldn't want to win that way. But congrats to him, and maybe next year when he's in college, I'll get one.
Maybe next year seems to be the theme because this kid is putting the rest of us to shame. But second place is nothing to turn your nose up at. We'll see you at Michigan next week. Well, maybe. I don't think. No, we won't. We won't see you at Michigan next week. You've got a thing. So we'll see you in what, 2 weeks at Bristol.
3 weeks whenever we come back. I think we have an off week too.
We too. Who cares, man? At this point, it's just counting down to the next Noah Belleville win. We'll see you when we see you.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Speaking of Noah Belleville, Moldy, just another dominant performance. Big cheers from Cody Pennell as well, the last guy to win a TNT race by lapping the entire field. Only our second ever race at Iowa in the iRacing era, and you've dominated like even Aiden Norman has not done before. Ridiculous levels of dominance here, man.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because the last time we raced at Iowa, it was one of the closest finishes in TNT history. But this week, I just kind of split it evenly, 44-ish laps every run, and I'm kind of surprised that more people didn't do that. Everyone else was kind of staying out a little later, and I was just splitting it evenly, and it kind of really worked out because I was gaining all my time through the pit cycles. I wasn't really gaining that much on the track.
Next week at Michigan, you go to tie the very talented Aiden Norman's single season win record with 8 victories. And the last time that Aiden Norman was going for that particular record, Michigan happened to be the race where it really hit the fan for him. So bad omens for Aiden. Hopefully a good omen for you next week. Unofficially, it is a 40-point gap. And if my math is correct, if you start next week's race, now we start talking about clinching scenarios before the last race of the season. For you, is the championship already wrapped up?
Definitely not, because, I mean, we saw last season where I had problems loading into a race or something came up and I had to miss a race. So, I mean, you never know if you're going to have to miss a race. I mean, Tommy's going to miss next week. You never know if you're going to have something to do. So, definitely want to build it up as high as I can just to give myself a buffer.
Hopefully that cushion builds up high enough if something comes up. Hopefully that's not the scenario, man. Hopefully we see you for the remainder of these last 6 races of the season, man. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you in a week at Michigan.
Yep, thank you.
Fans at home, another chapter of TNT in the books. 6 races remain, and Noah Belleville sits on top of the points unofficially by 40 markers over Brooklyn's Nick Pressey and the sophomore Matt Seeger further in the distance. An unbelievable race for records, for just timing and scoring, just despite the dominant performance. I had a blast. I hope you did too. Until that next race, everybody